So 90% of businesses fail, and there's a good chance that you might be one of them, Granny. Do you think that's going to
What?
happen to you?
No, no, not at all. What
Yeah.
are you
So I was
you're
doing.
you're on a bit of a tirade,
I
aren't
know.
you?
I was a bit of a doing a lot of research in the last week or so because being a very angry octopus, basically hell bent on world domination. I've been doing a lot of researches into online businesses, which encompasses eBay and online selling platforms and all those different things. So all the articles that I found says that 90% of the people that start online businesses will fail within the first 120 days or first 90 days. So
Mm.
that's a
That's
pretty
not very
brutal
long,
swing.
is it? Yeah.
No, and I suppose this episode, and like we normally like to make episodes, a bit lighthearted and fun, and and make sure everyone's happy and to come along and play from that perspective. But I think, especially since we're on our new channel now, is that we need to put some realism back into the market and some expectation management as well. So that's what we're going to talk about today, Granny.
Well,
So how's your week been?
I just have to say it's not. I'm not having a very realistic experience tonight because there's something weird going on with StreamYard, and I'm staring at just a pixelation, not at Octo. So I'm talking to nothing, and it's a bit weird.
Well, hopefully it stays that way on the video, and everyone will be like, "Oh, who's this mysterious handsome octopus?"
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little bit disconcerting to what I'm used to, but yeah.
Yeah, so well, that's right. Yeah, you normally look at my beautiful noggin, but today you've got a different picture. So we'll see what it
Yeah.
comes like when we download the video. But I suppose that for those that dabble a little bit into the wider YouTube space, there has been some drama, not so much in the reselling space. I'm looking pretty much holistically across YouTube, right? So I've got to be very careful because apparently this person's very litigious. So there's going to be lots of
Oh,
uses of allegedly, and I'm pretty sure if you're, like I said, if you're in the wider wider YouTube space, you'll probably know what's going on. There's a lot of drama regarding a very, 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 very big YouTuber, right? So without saying too much, and this is part of the reasons I want to get into later in the conversation as well, is that they've been deleting negative comments on their channel. So their credibility has been shot from that perspective, and they're obviously going after anyone that's talking about this thing. So,
yeah.
don't put in the comment section below.
Well, the ridiculous thing is that I don't think it would matter what type of YouTube channel you ran. At some point, you're going to get negative comments, and you just say, "Oh, well, thanks for your thoughts," or reply something like that, and just leave it at that. Leave it at that. Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
Unless they're really nasty and are slanderous and have bad swear words or whatever in them. Yes, I would delete those, but you know.
Yeah, and I kind of agree, right? Like we're going off a little bit of a tangent in this respect, but I think, from the history of our podcast, I think I've deleted one comment. It was just because it was, verbal garbage in the sense, and we've said numerous times, we'll leave all the comments there. Not everyone likes us. Not do we expect everyone to like us. We're not trying to please people and suck up to people and all these different things. Everyone's welcome to have an opinion. Everyone's welcome to have their own opinion. And put it in the comment section below. But like we do obviously draw the line at, the different bad things that you should, if you're a decent human.
Well,
but
we
yeah,
wouldn't
like I was
have
saying,
someone threatening to unalive us or something like that, would we?
well, that's exactly right. So we haven't had anything along that lines. We have had some people that I suppose took swipes at other people, which is not applicable. Like, I've said numerous times, I'm more than happy for people to criticize us and give us constructive criticisms and all these different things, and let us know what they think in the comment section. It's open slather, but realistically, when you start bringing, other people and other people's families into it, I will delete their comments. And we've only had one of those, right?
Yeah.
So it hasn't been too bad.
And there is one of those things too that YouTubers need to realize, and I think we have said this before, that if you're going to put yourself out there by having a YouTube channel and making lots of videos and getting heaps of subscribers and lots of views from different people, you've got to cop it. You're putting yourself out there, so you have to just deal with the fact that there are going to be some people that don't like you and are going to want to make comments.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I suppose what I'm leading into with this line of
Put on your big boy
dialect,
pants, suck it up.
this line of dialect that I'm going into is that I've started unsubscribing from YouTube channels that I think are deleting their comments, right? So realistically, I can't trust personally. I can't YouTuber, especially if in the reselling space, right? If they're cherry picking comments to make themselves look fantastic and all these different things. Because if you go into the comment section, and like I said, that we don't delete ours, so by all means go back to our earlier episodes, especially one in question. Go back to
Yeah,
on. You can pretty much guarantee that
I
we don't
can.
delete comments.
Which? Yeah, I can. I already know which one that is.
Let us know in the comment section below if you have watched that video. But what it comes down to is that when you watch YouTubers, for all intensive purposes, right, they're giving financial advice, regardless if they think so or otherwise, especially in the reselling space, right? From very, very minor things in the sense of saying, hey, look, I'm trying to help you make a couple of extra dollars, which is what the Geelong Flipper does, which is fantastic stuff, right? So I've got a lot of respect for him. And he's genuinely
He
trying to
works
help
hard and
people.
puts out a lot of content.
I know. He's Grumpy
Mm.
Granny 2.0. I remember when you first started, you keep bloody saturating the
Yeah,
market.
I overdid it. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, but and Tori will get there as well. But when people like that, and by all means, I think Tori's genuine, and this is not a dig at him, but when people are talking about eBay and all these different things, you really need to be careful of those different things, and that kind of, to me, that contributes to that people losing, that falling into that 90 days or 120 day, business failings because.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at us, for example. I mean, here we are, and we always say our channel is in the past, the original, podcast was for entertainment purposes, and we tried to keep it light and humorous. But the fact of the matter is, we were actually giving people advice and stuff on YouTube. We were telling them how we were doing things, and people were taking that as advice and going off and using it for themselves. So everyone that's putting out that content is actually in the way doing that.
That's exactly right, and that's something that I want to bring attention to, right? So, my YouTube channel, so my Disgruntled Octopus channel, I'm moving away from these
World
kind of videos in
domination?
the sense, no, still world domination, but I'm moving away from videos where I suppose we talk about sell similar, we talk about end and relist, all those different things. They will be coming through on the classic episodes, but I'm releasing, I think, a couple of times a week. You probably have been
Yes.
inundated on this
Well,
channel.
talking of which, going off tangent, but talking of which, like I re-listened to the one that the last one you uploaded today, and I've been having a bit of a laugh. But I've also was thinking to myself, we've changed our views on a few things that were in that video.
Yes, I did see the comments in the section saying that you're a bit of a hypocrite in regards to AI. But what it really comes down to, right, is that, and what Granny was saying is that regardless of when people say it's entertainment purposes only, we're not financial advisors, all those different things, it kind of negates it, right? So when I do shorts, or when Granny does shorts at thrift stores or op shops and all these different things, and say, hey, look, you can pick up this book for $1, you can sell it for $15 or $20 and make this much profit. That's subconsciously telling people what to do, right?
Yep.
So, and I think that contributes to people actually failing, their business is failing because they don't, realize how busy it is. Then secondly, what they do is they don't follow through. They just think it's a case of, well, Grumpy Granny does it, I'll just replicate that process and off I go. And it's really hurting the community. And the reason why I'm moving away from that style of language and all these different things, I'll do what's sold videos, I'll show you what I'm actually picking up. Be very mindful though, is that I know those niches back to front, and I kind of know what I'm looking from that perspective. So, watch it. I'm going to probably try and morph the channel into more of a picker channel, I suppose.
Yep. But it is so true, because, like, even in my instance with my vintage and antique books, for example, I've developed a market for that. I've got a following for those. So I do have people that come and source them from me, like, because they've bought from me before. And someone that's new starting out might send me with this 50-year-old book and think, oh, I'm going to go and get that as well. But I know that, and I know when to pick up a particular book or whether not to. And I know, going by, there's things so much like condition and all those sorts of things that come into it, because I've already got all mine set up and I know what I'm doing. But that doesn't mean you're going to be able to sell that book, especially if it's in amongst a jumble of salt and pepper shakers and cutlery and remote controls and, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. And I suppose, especially in this economy, this is like a throwback to Geelong Flipper, is that he's trying to help people, which I really admire, and all those different things. And like I said, it's nothing against him and the message he's pushing across, because it is it's genuine and it's pure from the perspective I'm coming from. But I suppose, especially with what Tory doesn't realise, these people don't have that knowledge that he does, because he knows books back to
Yep.
front. He knows what to look for and all these different things. And I suppose personally, from my perspective, is that with the economy being shot, rental prices
Mm,
going up and all these different things, I don't want to contribute to financial stress for these people, in the sense that personally myself, with a 3 or 4 months sell through rate, if I'm picking up a thing today for
mm,
$5, that $5 is tied up for at least 3 or 4 months, depending what the
yep.
price is, right? A lot of these people that pick things up, they normally go to the op shop, they grab a basket, they start grabbing everything off the shelf, because Grumpy Granny, the octopus, and every other YouTuber on the planet, is telling them what to look for and all these different things.
Mm,
But they're not taking that extra step to actually work out what they're selling and how they're going to sell it. Yeah, a lot of them
yep.
don't even know how they're going to post the bloody things. So it's
No, yeah. And you might have something valuable that, yes, you can sell for a good price and sells quickly, but how are you going to package it up? And if you don't know and you haven't got all that stuff at hand, maybe you're late in posting it. Maybe it gets
well, that's right.
broken. Then you get a 9 ag.
'Cause- Yeah, I kind of think to myself, a lot of people talk about analysis paralysis and all these different things that doing it from that perspective. But I suppose what I really want people to do is actually take on that analysis paralysis, in the sense of start researching before you open up an eBay account. Start doing the
Mm,
due diligence, all these different things. Even if it's a case of, yeah, and I think I've said before, these $0 challenges infuriate me to no end, because more often than not they're junk. And if you look at everything
yep.
from a 90% perspective, 90% of the stuff that you pick up at the thrift store is complete garbage. I'm actually doing a reaction video to a Goodwill video that I found today, and it is
Yeah,
insane. Like,
is it?
I dare say that 90% of businesses is going to be on the lower end of being failure in the future.
Yeah,
So
well, my foray into doing reaction videos was a complete fail. I've only done one, and it got pulled
mm,
by YouTube. So
can't take you anywhere.
will I
But
try
I was,
again?
mm, yes, that's good. Like, yeah, but I suppose from my perspective is that I really like. I don't want to give people like a 1 step plan or a 5 step plan or all these different things before they go down the path of reselling.
Mm,
It's that, especially in this economy where people don't have that money to spare, they are looking for quick fixes to improve their situation, all these different things. You need to
mm,
be very mindful. I think a lot of YouTubers are assisting, in the sense of saying, "Hey, look, this is what you can potentially sell," and all these different things. And a lot of other YouTubers are taking advantage of that situation.
yeah,
They're basically trying to sell it a quick, rich, quick scheme, or they're selling dreams which are unachievable.
yeah.
And there was a video about a week ago, I think, came out regarding another YouTuber in the reselling space, that I suppose that, how's the best way to put it? Probably selling dreams that are unachievable.
Yeah,
So there are some of those people out there. So be really
yeah.
careful of what you're doing. So
And
if
especially
if
if those people are giving you only a portion of what they're
mm,
offering, and then they're saying to you, "Come and join, be a member," and that membership's costing you $35 or whatever it is,
yeah, well, that's
um,
right, and that's,
and costing you a
yeah.
lot more money to actually achieve that goal because you can't get all the information. That is a concern because people don't have that money to spare at the moment anyway.
That's right. Yeah. So, I my honest advice to anyone that's looking at reselling, especially in the current climate, and if that's the path you're going down, and a lot of YouTubers that delve in that space, they use a system called a funnel. What they'll do is they'll basically, talk themselves up how fantastic they are and all these different things, and maybe provide some little bit tidbits of guidance, and obviously
Like
how
you've
successful they
done
are.
that.
Well, that's right. But but I suppose that, provide how successful they are and all these different things,
Yeah.
and they're funneling you into a product, either an ebook or an online
Mhm.
course or a membership program. All these different things you need to be very mindful of. Okay, so we have spoken about this before, and take it or leave it. And we're not going to tell you to go one way or another. I think personally, if you are looking at reselling, just watch it from purely from an entertainment perspective. Don't delve into it. So
Yeah. And look, we
I
do
would,
have memberships on our channels, on our main channels, and but they're very minimal money, and that's just people. We got to that point where we could have them, and we did do them, and people are well aware of the fact that that's just there. If people want to join, they can. If they don't, who cares?
Yeah, so I'm actually second guessing my channel memberships, to tell you the truth. I'm not too sure. I might actually pull them down because, like I think we spoke about this before, Green, is that I think realistically, if anyone should have a channel membership, especially in this day and age in Australia, it should be you, because the content you're providing, mine's more or less, just to fund my world domination aspirations. But we yourself, you are providing that services, and those videos are actually helping people out. So I'm in two minds.
Well, yeah, if
Well, I
someone
probably
asked
will.
me, I mean, and that the majority of my content, of my tutorial sort of stuff that I do, is someone will ask me and how to do something, and I'll put that into a video, or they will actually say, "Oh, can you make a video about this?" And so I
Mm,
will, because they don't know how to do it, and it's easy because I know how to do it. So I'll just make a video out of it while I'm doing it,
mm.
and that works fine.
Yeah, and by all
And
means, we're
plus,
not talking down.
I need to get some money for my old age, to earn some
I was
money.
about to say
Because
retire.
well, yeah, because I'm making on average 3 cents for every short that I make.
That's right. Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize that,
Wow.
right? So, we have mentioned past in the podcast that we weren't going to, monetize the channel or all these different things. But and I think I replied to Graham's comment in the sense of saying, "Hey, we didn't really know what was going on back then, and the amount of work that goes into these things." Because we would be, filming the podcast, for 2 to 3 hours on a day. Then, we had to do all the editing and all these different things. But like I said, that was when people had a
Yeah.
little bit more cash to
Well,
splash around.
that is true. And you know what? I actually had to buy a new pot of the special face powder that I use. And I got a new one when we first started doing the podcast. And I had to buy another
Mm.
one.
Yeah, so I suppose from that perspective, it's just really, really, really dig into the content creators that are giving you information. If they're still active on eBay, if they're active on the platforms that they're
I can hear
trying to
music.
spruik. That's I don't know. Is that coming through you?
No.
Oh, it's haunted again.
I thought
This
it
is the
was coming
problem.
through you. Ooh.
No,
Did you
it could be the air
hear
conditioning.
it too?
No, I can hear the air conditioning starting up, but not.
Oh, maybe it was that. Maybe it was sort of
Yeah,
sounded like a whistling noise. Oh.
yeah, that's probably the air conditioning. But
Mm.
but what I'm going back to is basically just start digging into, kind of look at things as if you're hiring this person, because I think a lot of the YouTube community, from what I'm seeing, not all of them, but some elements of the YouTube community, people are starting to idolize, and they're paying people money and all these different things, and this goes across all the different spectrums of YouTube, right? So it's not isolated just to the reselling component, but you really, if it comes down to penny pinching, work out what your return on investment
Yeah.
is. If this person's still active on the platform, that they're, if they're saying that they make $200,000 selling a Macari, but they've been banned off Macari, 6 months ago, you really need to break it down from that perspective. Do your research. Don't read the comment section, or even just skim the comment section, because, like I said, it's quite easy for you to delete comments and just have
Yep.
all the comments that reflect how fantastic you are and how wonderful you are and how you're helping people, all these different things. But
And a lot of them will, especially the bigger channels, and they actually have moderators and people that will help them do it and manage their social media for them. And they will actually delete those negative comments that, or anyone that wants to have a discussion about something, they'll delete them because they just are thinking about getting more people in to join their whatever they're doing, or more
that's
people to
right.
watch, thinking that they're fantastic, great, never make a mistake.
Yeah, that's right. And, like I said,
Impossible.
no, and that's right. And for the vast majority of YouTubers that I watch, they're genuine in a sense, regardless if I like them as people or otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
are. I don't think they're leading people down the garden path, or they have their own motives. But there are components of the reselling space, there are components of the YouTube space that, to me, are selling a dream. And I know we've talked about this before and all these different things. Which at the moment I think is completely unachievable, right? I've watched this video. I will be reacting to a video which will come out probably later in the week, if not the weekend, um, just to give you a bit of a realization what's happening behind the scenes, because
Yep.
it's about goodwill, right? So realistically, I'm not giving too much away because it's quite eye-opening and all those different things. Reselling, it's probably going to be obliterated as we know it in the next 12 to 24 months.
Mm.
It's no longer going to be sustainable. And I think a lot of YouTubers in that reselling space are seeing the writing on the wall and are either moving away from online selling platforms and running courses, running groups, running mentorship programs, and all these different things to make up that foreseen dip in the reselling market. So
Yeah. And look, a big component for me was because people have said I should have charged more, say for my channel memberships. I've made them as the lowest figure that I could, because people kept asking me, telling me they wanted to pay me, give me some money for the content that I am providing. And look, it's great. And for me, it's going to be passive income as I get too old, when I'm too old and cranky to even make videos. So those videos will still be there and still be helping people. So that's cool and that's good. But, my Discord, for example, which started out was going to be just a book club, it's exploded. But it's free and anyone can come and join it. But the thing is, it's not so much a place to, how shall I put it? It's not a place where where we're teaching you something or we're making you do things a certain way. It's become a really great community and a way to interact with other people, because we quite often get in on the video and voice calls and are chatting to each other every day. And if you are at home working alone, that is just so great. And people put in their stuff. Like someone shared today, they'd redone their whole shipping area and it looked magnificent. And, here's me with a lime green laminate bench that came out of a 1970s kitchen, which does the job equally as well, mind you. But like hers looks so good. But people are sharing, I'm finding, on the Discord, which is really, really good. And that's what we want to be doing, is sharing, not putting out information and expecting to get something back for it.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. And by all means, it's a business transaction, right? Realistically, as much as I whinge and all these different things, as long as there's a return on investment, and I have said this previously, and make sure you're actually, like you've said previously as well, if you are engaging in like a monthly membership group or something along that, get in, get what you need, and get out. It's not. And I have said previously that people are joining these groups as some form of socialization or some form of friendship and all these different things. Like join a Discord, join Reddit, join somewhere that you can actually have that human interaction for free.
Yes.
And I've said numerous times when I take photos, I actually use an old cardboard box with a piece of paper around it. That's my backdrop. So you don't need to spend ludicrous amounts of money, because I have watched videos and they're rife at that, because we've gone into tax season, people are getting tax returns, and at the start of the year also, you'll see a slather of YouTube videos come out say, hey, look, this is how you need to set up for being as an eBay reseller. Then they'll basically want you to buy, $2,000 racking systems and all these different things through affiliate links, and like I said, the list is endless. So it's just insane. So
I don't get any money for the information that people find in my descriptions on my videos about my bit of $25 carpet that I got from Bunnings that I use for my backdrop.
You should create an affiliate link. But I think what it really comes down to, and like I said, there's that 90% of people fail, right? So you got a lot of people with the analysis paralysis, which I would prefer. That do the amount of research to the point where if it's an actual viable business venture, right? So don't spend your last $20. Go to the thrift store, go to the op shop, and buy something that A, you probably won't list, and B, is probably broken or missing. It's got holes in it, all these different things. So you really need to be looking at something. We have mentioned before, if you're a niche, like for example, I'll use Skylanders because I know Grumpy Granny loves Skylanders. But
you had to do it. I thought we're 24 minutes in, and I thought we're going to do an episode without him saying the word Skylanders.
No, but what it really comes down to is that I know those things back to front, and if I don't know one, I'll know where to research it. But a lot of these people, especially, and I've had a few people reach out to me and say, "Hey, look, you've ruined the Skylander market." Well, no, I haven't. But when people expect eBay pricing on Skylanders, on Facebook Marketplace, and all those sourcing opportunities, just save them. Because you can watch the prices fall. Like one lot that I'm watching down here was $150. It's down to $25 at the moment because they're unrealistic and they don't know how to sell them.
You'd actually think I would have learned something about selling Skylanders by now, wouldn't you?
Yeah, right. Well, I keep telling.
I've never found one in the thrift, probably because I don't know what I'm looking at. I've probably seen them and not realised what they are. Like, You
Yeah.
know.
And like I've said numerous times before, right? 99% of them, like 90% of them are garbage. Yeah,
Hmm.
really, they're just fillers. So, um, yeah, and I've always said, people can reach out to me, and I have had people reach out to me and ask me about Skylanders, which I'm more than happy to assist.
I mean, I have
But
done it. I've found some on Facebook that I could get, and I've sent you
mm,
the pictures. I mean, it hasn't happened to me very often. I've sent you
mm,
the pictures, and I'm thinking to myself, surely there's one good one in there. Nah.
no. Well, yeah, in your Discord, yeah, I've got like a little section where people send me
Yeah.
photos and they get offended when I tell them they're all garbage.
Yeah, they
but
do, don't they? Yeah.
but what it really comes down is to, me personally, I have created a couple of other, YouTube channels. This one, it's obviously to keep the podcast on it. Myself, my original channel per se, just to do, some fun sourcing plus, all those different things. What I personally look for, what I personally buy, and that audience is going to be catered towards, I suppose, picking, where I want people to actually go treasure hunting with me. And I've also created a Sega Master System one where I'm basically using that as a platform to motivate me to build my collection from that perspective, because
Yeah.
it's kind
And
of
so
outside that.
with that, I need to teach you how to um, edit the actual text on the Opus clips because I can't remember what it came up with. Didn't come up as Sega system on one of them the
Seeker,
other day.
Seeker,
Yeah, Sega.
yes,
Yeah. Mm.
yeah. But yeah, I have edited it. But what I did was I found that it uploaded beforehand, and I've given up. So
Oh,
basically, but I'm still playing around with the editing at the moment. But that I think, I'm creating all those different things. And if I was going to be truthfully honest, I'm probably going to focus more on that retro 8-bit, with a Sega's, YouTube channel more, because I think I
I'm
can
looking at an
bring.
8-bit picture at the minute.
Hopefully, it doesn't come out that way on the, on the
Yeah, it'll be
download.
interesting. Yeah, you'll still have to put
Yeah,
it up
well,
because it'll be funny as.
yeah. Well, I still
Because it
will. I'm
is,
not
it's just
recording this
it's
again.
just like all these blocks, like
Mm,
Lego blocks. That's
yeah,
what it looks like.
yeah, that's right. Well, it could be a Lego block, but I think, from that perspective, is that, I really don't want to be telling people to source these items and, be looking at these different things and leading down the garden path. So that's something you really need to be mindful of.
Yeah, because I think the biggest risk is that people like even for me, people appreciate the advice I give and everything, and then they think I'm doing really well on eBay,
Mm,
so they look at what I'm buying, and even if that's not a product they're selling, they start looking at those things because they think,
that's right.
"Oh, Gigi knows what
And
she's doing."
well, that's right. And I've said numerous times myself, I've fallen into that trap where I was like, oh, okay, I'll go start buying jeans and all these different things, and I have a grudge full of jeans, or I'll start buying these different things. But I think if you want to do something, you know, put a percentage of your eBay, money aside to
Mm.
looking into new niches or something
For an
ones that they go out.
experiment. It's
Well, that's
okay to do
exactly
an
right.
experiment, and I think that's one of the key things I think at the moment with the economy being the way it is, and that
Mm,
this is my 2 cents worth. For a lot of eBay resellers, especially if you are someone that's only doing one particular niche, is to broaden your horizons because if that niche starts, you know, being devalued because of the economy, what what's going to happen? You're going to lose not lose your store, but yeah, your business will fail. Whereas if you have, and I'm not saying sell everything, I'm just saying sell, if you're selling Skylanders, maybe you want to go into selling jeans as well. Like I do, books and jeans are my main
mm.
2 categories.
Hmm. But you've researched those, right?
Oh,
You
absolutely.
didn't watch a video from, the Commonwealth Picker or Diary of a Flipper. They just run down to the thrift store and start, taking armfuls of clothes or
I do
armfuls
watch
of
Diary of a Flipper, but that's for entertainment purposes only. But he's quite adorable, really. If you can get over
yes.
the bad language, he's actually quite adorable.
He's probably watched Deadpool 3.
Hi, Brad.
Yes, but that's something you need to be very mindful of, is that do the research. Don't just watch a video and all of a sudden you're just going to run off and pretend that you know what you're doing and all these different things. So yeah,
Yeah, because
like
I have researched denim, and actually done courses on denim, and delve right into it so that I know exactly what jeans to buy. If I buy a bad pair, what I can do to do something with them to still sell them.
mm,
You know everything.
I would basically, going back to if looking at experimenting, right? It's probably if you can't talk for 10 minutes on that item, don't sell it.
Yeah.
You don't know enough about it. Like if you sit in front of a mirror or just talk to someone and say, "Hey, look, these are Skylanders. They come in 6 different series. I don't know how many series there are. We'll go with 6. Yeah, this color's this color, this color's that color, and all these
Mm,
different things. If you can talk for 10 minutes without thinking about it, you know that product well enough to sell it.
yeah.
You need to know your market. You need to know your customer base. But if you go, "Oh, I've seen, Granny selling 50-year-old books," and that's all you know,
Yeah.
you are not even
I know.
remotely ready to sell in that
And look,
category.
everyone's going to occasionally, from time to time, if you are watching YouTube content, you are going to, from time to time, come across a bolo item that someone has talked
Mm,
about, and you're not going to pass it up. But the thing is, I've probably got half a dozen of those here in my house that I've bought, but they're breakable, like they're
mm.
breakable items, like the ceramics and glass. And so I've got them here, and there's a couple I decided I was going to keep anyway, but the others are here purely because I do not want to post them,
Yeah.
because I found that when I was doing ceramics early on, which I know a bit about vintage ceramics because I used to work in that field years ago, but I just found the stress levels for me, and some people are great about it and they can do it really well, but my
Mm.
stress levels were so high from the minute I put that parcel in the post till the minute it arrived safely the other end. Thank God none of mine ever got broken, but that's it.
Well
I knew I had to stop.
well, that goes back to that thing I was saying before. If you can't, in that 10 minutes of talking about that item, you need to know how to ship it, you know, what your consumer base is, what your market base is, how often that item sells, what does it sell for, and all these different things. So it
Hmm.
just doesn't limit to, the physical attributes of that item. You really need to go in the deep dive about, like, for example, I used to sell Jim Shaw statues, and I don't go near
Yeah.
them now because they are so fragile. And same thing, like, I would
Mm.
spend more on packaging to send these items off. My profit margins would shrink because I have to spend,
Yeah.
$10 or $15 in packaging to make sure it got to America fine.
And not just the cost of the packaging either, Octo, it's the actual cost of your time that it takes to do
That's
it.
right.
And that was probably one of my big things because I had a couple of things that I had to like double box. I
Mm,
actually, the one always talk about is I found a 1950s piggy bank. It was about this big and it had one of those really cutesy, kitschy faces, and
mm,
sold
mm.
it for quite a decent amount of money. But to get it to where it needed to go, because it was so large, I essentially had to package it very safely. And the time that it took me to package that, oh, I said never. That
Yeah,
was the one that killed me. I said never again.
yeah, and that's exactly right. And realistically, I think a lot of people are drawn to clothes for that reason, or they're
Yeah,
drawn to video games and all these different things. But you really need to know that they're very saturated markets. So,
yeah.
and like going back to what
And
you and before,
the good thing with books is that they
mm,
always fit. Like
that's right.
someone's not going to return it because it doesn't fit. But that is such a saturated market, hugely
That's
saturated.
exactly right. And realistically, and I think you need to look what you're selling, like, because if
Mm,
you're going back to what you're saying with bolos, is that you know that bolo, if that person's popular, just say if Mr. Beast was the person that released a bolo video, they wouldn't be
mm.
bolos anymore because
Yeah,
they'd be
no,
like the mass
no.
market. So you
Mm,
need to be very mindful, especially when YouTubers divulge, "Hey, look, this is the item." Like I talk about Robo, the Skylander that goes for $600. I've ever come
mm.
across two in thousands and thousands of
Yeah.
Skylanders. So I'm happy to talk about that because the likelihood of you coming across one is non-existent.
Mm.
So
And the
but
thing,
I,
yeah, the other thing is too that a lot of the successful resellers aren't
mm,
on YouTube. They're
that's
reselling
right.
and they're getting experts in their field. And
Mm,
there are some people like John Roberts. I'll give a call out too. He only does it part time, but he's doing really well at it. And he's become this expert in we call it Nana PORN, and it's
mm,
because he does Mills and Boon, but he's become
mm,
such an expert at it, and he's doing so well. He knows exactly how to sell it, um, you know, and all that sort of stuff. How much to pay for it when he buys it. He says the deal comes up, and he knows immediately whether he's going to take it or not.
that's
And
right.
I shudder to think how many thousands of them he sold. But yeah, he's done the research and done the hard yards.
That's exactly how I am with Skylanders. I'll look at a picture on Facebook Marketplace, or someone will reach out to me, and I'll tell you within 3 seconds if it's worth it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like you really need to get to that level of expertise. And please, by all means, do your research before you start watching those videos. Like I said, that a lot of the YouTube community are out there. They're not doing it for malicious reasons. They're actually doing it for reasons, but they might be conducive to your situation. So
Yeah.
you really need to,
Well,
if
yeah, especially considering a lot of the overseas ones, the bigger channels, they're making a huge amount, often over half their income from their YouTube channels.
yep,
So they're actually sourcing and being resellers so they can make content for the YouTube channels.
that's right.
So they may not necessarily be making that much money by the
And
time they take out all their expenses from their reselling.
well, that's right, and that's, I suppose, if you're going to be brutally honest, that's what I'm going to steer the Octopus account towards. Is that where I actually, instead of going thrifting out of necessity, I'm going thrifting for fun, and
Yeah.
that's what, and I find those videos more entertaining in the sense of actually looking forward and looking for items, that will be fun or good to look for, opposed to having to go out there for necessity and all those different things. And going back to what like Geelong Flipper and Tori was talking about, helping people with getting an extra couple of dollars. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. What it is those people probably need to save up a couple of extra dollars. If they've got $10 and they have $1 left over at the end of the week, that $1 needs to go into a kitty or into a pot. Get to $20, then go thrifting for that $20. Don't
Look, whatever you do, don't go into debt to start reselling. You'll never get out of it.
No, that's right. And don't run off with money you can't afford to waste, because you really, I would liken reselling to gambling because there's no guarantee unless you know exactly what your odds are and what the sell-through rate is. Please don't fall down the
Don't
trap
think
of
you can
doing
go and
things.
spend like the $20 that you should be spending on your power bill and spend that on YouTube, eBay, thinking you're going to get your money back before the bill's due, because the high likelihood is it's not.
No. And realistically, like I said, that if you've got $1 or 50 cents left over at the end of the week and you can put that into a money box or something like that, wait till you get to $50. Don't go out with $5 and all these different things. Get something substantial and treat that $50 or treat that $20 as the last money that you have on earth. Don't be very, very selective and be very cutthroat
Treat
with
it
what you
like it's
buy.
$1 million and treat every item you buy like it's a Lamborghini.
That's right. Yeah, so I would always liken it to the sense of saying, hey, look, this is my absolute last $10, and before I get destitute and become homeless, how am I going to maximize this money? And it mightn't be on eBay. It might even be like buying stocks or putting it in a high interest account or something along the lines of that, because you've probably got a better chance of getting your money back. But anyway, Greenie, what do you got coming out this week? We're way over time.
Well, I've got a new video that I uploaded yesterday, which is a new series that I'm doing, which is Stories from History, which has already done really well, and people have asked me to keep going with it, which I will be doing. So that's a new thing for me, something a bit different. I've also got a new video, and there'll be some more shortly on my Grumpy Granny Reads channel. So I've got those. Plus, I'm in the midst of doing a What Sold video for this week, and I've got my live stream on Thursday morning. And by then, everybody will be sick of me, so that's probably enough for this week.
Well, I'm sick of you.
There'll be another
already.
Yeah, I'll have another story from history coming out on the weekend, and it's really cool because it's about some members of my family who back in like 1903 joined a cult, a fair income cult.
Oh, do they pay $34.99 a month?
Oh,
Hey,
no,
that.
they paid a lot more than that, I can tell you.
Yes, that's right. They still didn't get out.
Well, I kept wondering because my great grandmother, she came from a very wealthy family, and they were quite well off. And I kept wondering, well, why didn't that peter down? Where did the money go? Well, apparently it all went to America with the cult. So,
Yeah. No, that's all right. Well, talking of cults, we're off for another week. We'll see you again next Tuesday. Well, hopefully, let's see if we don't get cancelled. Bye.